roses too. I watched them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see sky.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show this evening. It is my pleasure as Charlie Chaplin today, many of you know me as Miss He, Theater Programs Director, to welcome you to this evening's performance. In the spirit of Halloween, I have dressed up for this evening's performance as one of our most historical actors. I would like to go over a few things before we begin the show. We are so delighted to have you joining us this evening and to be using this art form as a form of activism and sharing these stories with you all. We hope you find them inspiring. I have put a link to the chat in the chat to the program for this evening. And the lineup of the shows is also to my left on the Zoom screen. I will put the program in the chat once again here. If you have any problems accessing it, please let me know. There is one addition to this evening's performance. We are adding a show called Anti-Environmentalist Karen at the top of the program this evening. The beauty of Zoom is that we can have so many different people from so many different places come to enjoy this art. So if you would like to write in the chat where you are Zooming in from, please do so. We'd love to hear from you. As you all know, the cast and crew are performing live, so to avoid any interruptions and any technical difficulties, we do have the audience muted, but you will have the chance to interact with the cast and crew at the end of the show. We just have a couple viewing tips. We encourage everyone to adjust the volume as needed on their computers. You should also expand your viewing window to full screen. If you wouldn't mind turning your own video off, that will help with the bandwidth and viewing experience for all. I do want to let those of you with young children at home know that this production does include some mature themes and language. Following our performance this evening, there will be a Q&A in which the audience can either raise their virtual hand or write a note or question in the chat to give to the cast or crew. They would very much appreciate if you would all stick around for the Q&A, as that's their one opportunity to interact with the audience. As a reminder, we did perform a different set of shows yesterday evening. So if you were not able to attend last night and you would like to see those shows, please email me directly and I can send you a recording of those productions. And as we are functioning on the internet and through Zoom, there may be some technical hiccups during the performance. So depending on your internet bandwidth, there may be some lag time during some of the performances. So we just graciously ask your patience should anything arise. So everyone, please sit back, relax in the comfort of your own home, and enjoy the show.
I'm really glad I got out here today. That biology paper was a waste of my time anyways. What even is cellular mitosis?
Actually, cellular mitosis, aka cell division, is the process in which
I'm
cells...
sure Mr. Lee will understand. We are helping clean up the earth. That's biology enough, right?
And I needed the service hours too.
Shut up, we're doing a good thing for the community and it's more important than service hours.
Hey, whoa. What are you kids doing here? Making all this noise?
No, ma'am, we're actually a part of an environmental task force at the school called the ELP, the Environmentalist Leadership Program.
No, you're causing trouble and you're loitering.
We're picking up trash so it doesn't blow into the ocean and cause more pollution.
Why do you care?
Because if this kind of plastic gets into the ocean, it's kind of bad for the fish.
I don't care about the stupid fish. You are disturbing the peace. heard you swearing with my headphones on.
Haven't you ever heard of microplastics?
Of course I have. But it doesn't matter. You're all causing trouble.
Look, lady, we aren't doing anything wrong here. We're helping out the community and the ocean, so mind your damn business.
Sorry about my friend, but all we're trying to do here is help keep our streets and sidewalks clean. It's good for everyone.
How dare you talk to me like that, young man? Hey, what's your mom's phone number? I'm gonna call her right now.
We aren't giving out any phone numbers, especially because we haven't done anything wrong.
I'm recording this. It's gonna go viral.
Oh, that's it. I'm calling the police right now. I'm gonna tell them a gang of mischievous teenagers around here causing trouble and harassing people.
And I will tell them a crazy woman named Karen is abusing a group of kids who are trying to do community service.
Shut up, dude.
Wait, how'd you know my name?
Look at your bag, lady. Save the whales? Well, those whales that you just love so much. Well, they eat little small fish and krill. And those little small fish and krill eat microplastic. So by picking up this plastic, we are saving the whale.
That's facts.
Listen, everybody, let's just take a deep breath and calm down. Sorry, ma'am. We will be more quiet and then the cops don't have to get involved.
Fine, but I don't want to see you guys around here again, okay?
Serious.
It's ridiculous. It's like the woman had earplugs in.
It's gonna blow up.
I guess I'll start by saying hello to everyone in the room. Well, virtual room, because there's no reason to pretend we're here in person together, right? And I was wondering if you would do me a favor just to get this thing going, because I'm the only one in this particular play here tonight, and I don't like doing things in isolation. Well, things don't make sense for me in isolation. I prefer the relational. I mean, it's why I do theater, connection, and such, you know. So I was wondering if you would give me an uproarious round of applause. Is that okay? Would you give me one? Wow. Thank you. That was nice. Anya, has anyone ever given you an uproarious round of applause? It's nice. Can I ask them to give you one? It's really nice, and it's just kind of good practice. It's nice, right? Should we do that for someone else? Who do you want to give an uproarious to?
Let's give one to Mark.
Well, okay, now back to me. But wait, first imagine me as ice. Well, not like ice, the immigration guy's ice, but ice. Like I can be a icy glacial shelf, trying not to break off this frozen landmass in the Antarctic. Can you imagine me like that? Okay, here I am. I'm holding on tight, trying not to fracture. Okay, go, applause. Okay, great. Okay, now I'm you. No, you're you. No. Okay, no, I'm me, and you all are a piece of land that went to court and won rights as a person. The won human rights. Let's give that a round of applause. That's amazing. That took a lot of work. Wait, yes. Okay, now it's 1935 and no rain is falling. Now it's 1985 and a lot of rain is falling. Now it's 2011 and a man went diving in the ocean in Japan. looking for his wife who got swept away from a tsunami. Now it's 2011, and you are the mother who is still floating a lunch down into the waves for a daughter who was never found from that same tsunami. Can we give that some love? A little applause. I mean, talk about commitment. Oh my god, yes. Have we even thought thoroughly about the ocean? The ocean. I mean, it's been going along for years, absorbing all our shit, all the crap we put into the air, the CO2, our trash. I mean, the ocean is basically this amazing giant sponge that absorbs this extra heat being generated. If the ocean weren't absorbing all our crap, the Earth would be way hotter than it is now. Like, ugh. The ocean has really been masking what we've been doing for years. Really bearing the brunt. Round of applause to the ocean. Yes, round of applause. Thank you. And oceans in general, I mean, putting up with us trying to control them the way we do. Did you know that the surge water during Hurricane Sandy surged into all its original waterways? All its original high tide marks? All its original rivers and creeks that had been drained for development or whatever? Is that amazing? Amazing that water just went back to where it remembered, what felt at home. A round of applause for the water, finding its way back home. Round of applause. And now, here we are. Sea levels rising, the ocean longing to be back where it belongs, waterways, the shorelines creeping up, water literally everywhere. So let's give a hand to the boat builders, and while we're at it, to the art teachers as well who expand our thinking. Let's give a hand. And let's give a hand to the birds who always cheer us up, right? Their little chirping. And to our pets, who could forget them, and that one white rhino who is still left. Is it still left? Yes? No. Who knows for the white rhino. And for the people who live on islands that keep getting smaller. All those places that we don't need to think about here in the US. Let's just say, thank you. Thank you for dealing with the result of what everyone else is doing to the planet. Thank you. Wow. Actually, not sure they could hear us from where we are. I'm sure we could email them, right? Yeah. Can we Google someone from one of the islands, like the mayor or something? Or actually, let's stay closer to home. I mean, we could be nationalistic here. Why not? Our own country. Let's find someone in our own country. Huh. Great. So the Inupiat village in Alaska. Alaska. Are there any Inupiat here tonight? No? Okay, so the residents here recently voted to move their village about 5 miles inland because their neighborhoods kept sliding into the ocean. That's amazing. That's so proactive. Okay, so the town only needs $180 million to make the move. Well, we could raise that for them, right? Or do you want to raise the money? I don't know. It's kind of a lot of money. Yeah. And there's so much else to do. Yeah. A round of applause, at least, right? Yeah. A round of applause for what they're trying to do. Move that town. Move it. And a thank you. We'll definitely email them a thank you because everyone appreciates that.
This is how the story goes.
Layla, your grandmother isn't well. I want you to take this cake and bottle of wine to her. Oh, and Layla, don't stray off the path and leave things in the forest as you find them.
Yes, Mother. I'll do everything right. Don't worry.
But Layla was a liar. She not only veered off the path as usual, but she began to pluck all the flowers and plants of the forest as she always does. This is where I enter the story. Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood.
Don't call me that, Wolf. I hate it when you call me that. My name is Layla.
Well, good morning, Layla, and where are you going so early in the morning?
To Granny's house.
Oh, and what's in that basket of yours?
Granny is ill. My stupid mother thought she could cure her with cake.
And what's in that bottle you're drinking?
Pretty awesome Malbec. Wasted on the old hag, if you ask me. Want a sip?
Yes, please. Yeah, I live on that island over there. It's where I was born, across what is left of the frozen water that connects the island to the mainland here. Let me tell you, it's getting harder and harder to cross because of climate change.
Is this a sob story? 'Cause I really don't have time for a sob story.
Well, I don't suppose you could spare some of that cake?
Not a chance.
Uh, are you going to your grandma's house? I could walk with you.
Not before I pick some more flowers.
Oh, for your grandma? How thoughtful.
Hell no. They're for me.
And so I leave Layla as she continues to clear the forest. I go to her grandma's house and knock on her door.
Who's there?
A weary traveler. Grandma opens the door. Oh, she's got a gun. I didn't mean to scare you. I was just wondering if you got any scraps I could eat. It's getting harder and harder to get here. I'm famished.
I have nothing for a scrawny wolf, except this bullet.
She fires the gun, which is old and rusty. The recoil knocks her off her feet. Her head smashes against the door frame. She's dead as a doornail. I'm panicking even though I had nothing to do with her death. Oh, Layla will be here any minute now. I don't want her to be traumatized by the sight of her grandma's cracked head. I try to hide her under the bed. She's too big. In the cupboard, it's full of clothes and piles and piles and piles of plastic bags. Layla will be here any minute now. What do I do? There's only one thing for it, and this is when things get a little weird. I eat Grandma and put on her clothes.
Grandma,
Well, hello, Layla.
why was the door open?
Oh, it must have been the wind.
Oh my, Granny, what big ears you've got.
Oh, all the better to hear you with.
What big eyes you've got.
Oh, all the better to see you with.
What big hands you've got.
Oh, all the better to hug you with.
Oh my, Granny, what a great grim ghastly mouth you've got.
All the better to kiss you with.
You're not my grandma. You're the big bad wolf.
And that's when Layla takes out her .44 Magnum and blows my brains out.
Layla, your grandmother isn't well. I want you to take this cake and bottle of wine to her.
Yes, Mother.
Good morning, Layla. And where are you going so early in the morning?
To Granny's house.
And, what's in that bottle you're drinking?
Want a sip?
Yes, please.
Forget it.
I'm famished. It's getting hotter and hotter every year, which means when the water freezes, it forms a much thinner ice sheet than in the past. It makes getting here very tricky. You've got to watch your step. It's exhausting.
Boring. I'm off to pick flowers.
You've got to stop destroying the forest. That's what's causing the ice to melt.
Let me tell you, I make some serious cha-ching off of these flowers.
Then at least give me a piece of that cake, please.
Get lost.
I go to her grandma's house.
Who's there?
A weary traveler. Grandma opens the door, but before she has the time to point her gun at me, I drop dead of hunger.
Hello, Grandma.
Hello, darling. Did you bring me cake and wine?
Did you kill the wolf?
I didn't touch him, I swear. He just dropped dead.
What are we gonna do now? He's supposed to eat you, and then I kill him, and then the cycle starts again.
Well, he's dead anyways. Maybe if we wait a little.
It doesn't work like that. He has to be alive when I shoot him in the head. Then everything goes back to the beginning. Damn it, damn it, damn it! This means that I'm stuck here forever.
Shoot me.
What?
Shoot me and free yourself.
I can't shoot you. You're my grandma.
You call me old hag behind my back. You think I don't know that?
I tell you that because I love you, you stupid old thing.
Shoot me.
No.
Shoot me.
No.
It's the only way to save yourself, Layla.
And that's when Layla takes out her .44 Magnum and blows Granny's brains out.
Layla, your grandmother isn't well. You've got to go and kill her.
Yes, Mother.
Layla plucks the flowers of the forest as usual, but this time I don't show up because the water between the island and the mainland never froze. And so Layla stays stuck in the forest, which is no longer a forest, just a clearing. She plucks and plucks until there's nothing left.
The last thing I hear is a cry from the island. It's the wolf.
Whoa!
Holy shit!
What are they? Are they staring at us?
Stand back, they may be dangerous.
If they were dangerous, there'd be a fence.
Fine, let me scan them. Homo sapiens.
No way. These are Homo sapiens?
That's what it says.
I thought they were extinct.
Apparently not.
Oh, they're adorable. Do you have any food? Oh, I had some chocolate.
They were the dominant species for 200,000 years, up until about 1,500 years ago. The prevailing theory is that they precipitated the sixth mass extinction event and caused their own demise. Whoa, what are you doing? Be careful.
Here, look. It's chocolate. 70% cacao. It's very good. Did you see it? It ate it!
Yeah, you're lucky it didn't eat your hand, too. Didn't you see the do not be the wildlife signs?
They're harmless.
Until they're not.
They're our ancestors. Our kin. If it weren't for the Homo sapiens, the wise humans, there'd be no Homo evolutus, the evolved humans.
You can say the same thing about lions, crocodiles, and sharks, but they would still eat your hand and everything attached to it.
Whatever. Can you take a picture?
Seriously?
They're harmless.
Fine, but if something happens, I will tell you I told you so.
Hey, can I squeeze in you? Oh, don't worry. I won't hurt you. They're perfectly nice. Aw, hello. You're cute. Hey, big guy. Ah. Ready?
Okay. Got it.
Take another one, just in case.
Okay, fine. I took a few. Can we go now before the park closes? I want to see the blue-winged frog exhibit.
Where to find them? Does it say?
In a mall in New Jersey.
What's a mall?
It's a big concrete structure where people used to buy stuff.
What? Like food?
No, just stuff. You know, like things.
Why?
I don't know, for fun?
That's weird.
Did I tell you I'm thinking of getting a frog as a 3D tattoo?
What? Yeah?
On my ass, a bright, colorful 3D tattoo. Every time I get undressed, it'll look like a frog leaping out of my underwear.
I feel bad for them. Imagine being stuck in this park for the rest of your life with the last of your fellow sapiens.
All right, I'm going. If I don't come back, it's because I kissed a frog. It turned into a non-gender conforming charming, and we eloped.
Okay, I'll catch up. It's weird to be looking at your own past. Then again, I can only imagine what it must be like to stare at your future. And I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that you tried your best. It was a mess. Some of you fucked up. And some of you fought hard. And isn't it wonderful? You evolved. All of the shit that you went through turned you into me, a new species. Oh, which, granted, isn't the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's a step forward. I mean, think about it. 6 extinctions. Not one, not two, 6. 6 times the Earth was nearly wiped out of all life. So the odds that you and I would be standing here, well, we should cut you some slack, is what I'm saying. No species is perfect. For all we know, those dinosaurs were assholes. Well, it's not like left any stone tablets for us to find out, so thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Whatever you did wrong, you also did a lot of stuff right. And that's the story that I want to remember. That's the story that I want to tell. That's the story that we need to celebrate. Us. Here, now. I am proud of being your kin. I really am. And I hope the species that comes after me will be proud of being mine.
Once a month, I facilitate a meditation group at a women's prison in California. I leave my cell phone, cash, and lipstick in the car, inside their contraband, and take with me only pens and paper. As I walk towards the prison, small ground-dwelling owls keep vigil at the entrances to their burrows. Western burrowing owls. Named for the Greek goddess Athena's fondness for owls, they stand sentry outside their dens, the repurposed homes of other animals. Long-legged with huge yellow eyes, they watch me warily, and if I come too close, hop into their holes, heads bobbing up to keep me in view. Inside, I'm escorted to the chapel, where inmates wait seated in a circle on the floor. I read a poem by Naomi Shihab Nye or Pablo Neruda, or some passage that speaks to the women's lives inside. We talk about forgiveness, finding compassion, staying present with difficulty. We talk about loss and devastation. Then we write, an endeavor akin to meditation in my experience. The practice of receiving the world and letting it inhabit and blow through you like a breeze. The women inside are incarcerated mainly for drug and immigration offenses. Many are wives and mothers. One former inmate was incarcerated for her role in the politically motivated crimes of the Black Liberation Army and Weather Underground. When I first started volunteering at the prison, this inmate was the respected elder amongst the weekly meditation group. She walked with a limp from a gunshot wound to her leg. She died in 2010, just a few weeks after she was paroled. Her irrepressible spirit was a lamp of hope for the other inmates, and for me too. She was elegant and charismatic, open-eyed, quietly but fiercely determined. She wore bright lipstick with her regulation khakis and wrote dazzling poems. She found a way to thrive in the most unlikely of places, prison, not unlike the burrowing owls outside. They evoke an inconvenient truth. There are far too few burrowing owls and far too many prisons. What could be less wild than a prison? Still, the owls seem to be flourishing on this not particularly pretty patch of earth. They don't distinguish between innocent or guilty, guard or inmate. They are free to come or go. They offer the consolation of all wild things, the indomitable will to survive and thrive. The owls want nothing to do with me, but that's no matter. What matters is their presence. The same goes for the women inside during the time we spend together. I don't need to know what they did to find themselves in prison. I'm not a judge or a corrections officer. What's important to me is that they don't lose contact with their humanity, that they don't forget what it is to be a human being, or stop living their lives, even when the world they knew and loved is disappearing around them. The owl needs a burrow for shelter. The inmate needs a quiet, still space in her heart for refuge. Wilderness can't be squelched. It rejuvenates despite our disregard. The same can be said for the human spirit and our longing for freedom, no matter the circumstances. The burrowing owls raise their young just 10 feet from the prison parking lot. Here we are, they say. Still here. At a time of increasing extinction amidst such discouraging news, I find this deeply encouraging.
To carry out the experiment, you'll need a man. Towel is optional. And you'll need a steam room, a typical one, found in any spa, plus steam, created by heat. That's it. Then we wait.
Wait
Yes.
for?
When I was a young girl, foolish, willful, I used to go on long runs, in the middle of nowhere, in the blistering heat. Once, I got lost, almost died of heat stroke. Luckily, someone found me, just in time. How are we doing?
It's sweltering in here.
Tell us where you are.
In a steam room?
Which is where?
In a spa.
Which is...
Inside a gym?
And that is... You're in Singapore, right? Singapore?
Yes.
What's the temperature there?
In the steam room?
Singapore!
Oh, hot.
Mean temperature of 27 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Doesn't sound too bad, except it's heating up, twice as fast as the rest of the world. By year 2100, we'll see a daily average of 37 degrees Celsius, which is, as you may realize, our body temperature.
What we need is some AC.
The grid is working. If energy prices stay low. If you can get there in time. Remember those poor little babies left unattended in cars on a hot day? BBQ.
Someone should invent a low-cost AC. Solar-powered. Portable.
AC condensers give off heat, adding to the rising temperatures. In urban areas, because of hard surfaces, the effect is multiplied. Did I say the steam room has no doors?
What?
No doors.
How do I get out?
You don't.
But
Don't worry, it won't take long. When ambient temperature remains above 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity, the body is no longer able to sweat. No sweating means no cooling. No cooling means your internal organs heat up, start to fail. Muscle cells are wrecked, spilling their contents into the bloodstream, overloading the kidneys. Proteins in the spleen start to cook. The blood-brain barrier that keeps pathogens out of your brain becomes permeable, allowing toxins to invade. As you will see.
funny.
Not pretty.
So, how long do I have to stay in here?
Thought I was clear.
Must be here somewhere.
As I said...
Wait. Is this one of those escape rooms, right? You follow a series of clues and then you're out of here?
No.
Give me the first clue. Come on. Come on.
Remember, it's done in the interest of science. For the faint of heart, you may want to avert your eyes now. Ready?
Help! Someone help me! Help!
Don't try this at home. Unless home happens to be an equatorial country, like Singapore, where it's super humid. Then, you don't need to try. You're there.
And then I said to my cleaning lady, if everyone at my country club can make $500,000 a year, it can't be that hard.
Check out the breaking news. It's unbelievable.
Residents of Wellington City have awoken to a shocking and unprecedented event. According to eyewitness accounts, 6 polar bears fell out of the sky this morning. Despite falling from the sky, they miraculously landed unharmed and were last seen walking away in search of food.
The greenies are going nuts and blaming climate change. Someone is going to have to do the press briefing and tell the public everything is okay. Just another day in paradise.
Damn it! How can we spin this one?
We could go with no cause for alarm, it was a weather balloon.
No. Weather balloons go up. The polar bears fell down out of the sky.
A weather balloon malfunction?
Or a satellite returning to Earth that broke up into 6 polar bear shaped pieces. Yes! That's good. Wait, no, what about any eyewitnesses who saw the bears walk off in search of their food?
Unfortunately, the 6 polar bear sheep pieces landed on 6 unlucky cows grazing near the city center. The cows were dazed by the falling space debris, but all were unharmed and walked away in search of food. In confusion, drunken locals reported they saw polar bears.
Plausible.
Agreed.
Problem. One of the eyewitnesses just posted photos of a polar bear walking away from the crash site. Already has 1.3 million likes.
Okay. One of the polar bear shaped pieces of fallen satellite crashed into a visiting circus and landed on a polar bear cage, freeing the surprised but lucky polar bear. The circus was relieved to find out that their most precious bear, Mr. Fluffles, was unhurt and was looking forward to be reunited with the bear's best friend, Bongo, the 3-legged elephant who had been crying all night since the polar bear went exploring around town.
Plausible.
Agreed.
What? Apparently, International Polar Bear Rescue already has people on the ground here with a video camera. They just uploaded videos of 4 more of the bears wandering the city, climbing into dumpsters, snuffling through rubbish bins, and one of them just ate a poodle. 2.8 million hits on YouTube.
Okay. Excited and disoriented by the noise of falling space debris, a group of teenagers who were out selling Girl Scout cookies to raise money for an orphanage and were dressed up as polar bears became confused and jumped into dumpsters to escape the noise. When they emerged, the youngest member of the group, little Sally,
who recently gave one of her kidneys to a complete stranger,
realized she had dropped a contact lens during the commotion and had asked the others in the group to help find it.
And they combed the cold, lonely city streets, even searching through rubbish bins for the precious contact lens.
Which used to belong to little Sally's dead grandmother and had been a gift to little Sally on her deathbed.
And the teens were later surprised to learn that their International Polar Bear Rescue may have, inadvertently filmed them and are seeking damages for the use of images without permission.
Plausible?
Agreed.
Son of a biscuit! What is wrong with these people? A helpful local has befriended the last of the fallen bears and taken it home, giving it food, shelter, and a family that loves it dearly. They are scheduled to appear on a special episode of Oprah Winfrey at 8 p.m. tonight for the tell-all story of the bear that fell from the sky.
We could discredit the bear, talk about how it was an alcoholic seal pup murdering savage who fell out of a plane during a drunken bender while it was trying to snort coke off the air hostess.
Plausible.
Agreed.
Or maybe we could just tell the truth. The greenies are right. Admit that things are utterly out of control. The polar bears were flung halfway around the world due to severe weather events caused by man-made climate change, so rampant and so ridiculous that anything is possible.
Come on, Madame Press Secretary. You've had a really stressful day. I think you need to have a lie down and a nice cup of tea. Maybe some soothing music. We could buy you a new puppy and get you some new pajamas with pictures of rabbits on them. Come on, please.
Residents of Wellington City have awoken to a shocking and unprecedented event. A satellite containing poems written by children from around the world who were lost in the forest as babies and raised by wolves was returning to Earth, but unfortunately broke up on re-entry and crashed into government buildings. During the freak accident, a rogue piece of satellite smashed through a wall before landing in the office of the press secretary, killing 6 visiting orphan polar bears and decorated war hero Madame Press Secretary. Moments before tragedy struck, she was preparing to host a dinner in honor of left-handed orphan polar bears. Donald Trump has honored the late press secretary by promising that Mexico will pay for the wall.
Plausible.
Every day, approximately 200 species of plants and animals disappear from the world forever. This is nearly 1,000 times the natural rate of attrition and the greatest instance of mass extinction since the dinosaurs, 65 million years ago. Tonight, I will play 200 notes from Chopin's Prelude in E minor, a note for every remaining survivor of every species that died today.
Keep swift to the left there. It's shell over that way.
Saw some moose tracks back that way. We should head up there, across the channel.
Ugh. It's windy today. I'm gonna need me a juice for this kicker. Maybe buy a new one when the barge comes up next. That and a new skidoo for winter, eh? My wife will love that. And I'll give the one I have to my son.
It's shell over on the north side. Stay over on the right there.
Oh, there used to be a settlement in that area. You can tell by the clearing. We used to stop there, make a fire, make a lunch. My wife found some old tobacco tins last time we stopped.
Yeah?
Yeah, died in an old gas drum a few years back. Still had some in there.
Was it good, eh?
Nah, it was watery. We left it. Still in there, I guess.
Oh, shit! Stay low! Oh my god, I couldn't see anything nearly past me. I nearly hit that ice chunk there. Oh, the water's getting rough, fellas. It's getting really hard to see the ice floating out there. We should, camp up that channel. There. And pick up the trail tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good.
Hunters are using their own boats to search for 3 hunters that went missing last weekend. The overturned boat has been found damaged. There has been no determination on what caused the damage. One of their life jackets has been found, but nothing else. There remains no sight of the men or their whereabouts. It's a spring hunt for moose, and it's likely that these men were looking for moose for their families. The waters have been unusually swift this year and could have played a part. The strong winds and unpredictable currents make it hard to look for them. That isn't stopping local communities from taking part in the search. The RCMP are now calling it a recovery mission.
We want to bring them back. That's the way we are. Hopefully Mother Nature will give them back to us. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to the hunters to return home safe.
That's your third coffee.
Well, I'm not the one boarding.
Are you not allowed to drink coffee if you're boarding?
You're gonna need a toilet.
Ah, well, my bladder's not as weak as yours.
It's not, because they don't send weak bladdered girls out there.
Exactly.
Oh, I heard this old story. I mean, before boarding a space flight, all the astronauts would go on one last piss before boarding the ship. Like on the drive there, they would all get out and unbutton. It was like this kind of ritual. And then it started getting harder and harder when more and more women started joining the space flight. Well, because
Different architecture?
is it true?
Don't know. That was so long ago.
What?
Nothing. It's just astronaut. It's so quaint. No one's used that word for years.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I don't know the ins and outs of space travel.
Come on, it's
I'm just gonna stay down here on my Philistine Earth.
seriously, it's not like that.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars.
Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. It's like our song.
You'll know the spring is like Mars anyways.
I won't go, I'll stay.
But you're about to board.
I'll stay here with you.
You're going to Mars. You're gonna terraform the planet. This is once in a lifetime stuff. You've been handpicked for the 9th colony.
My head's spinning.
There was a time, get this, when we didn't have to live under domes. We could actually see the sky, not through a visor. I mean, so you set up Mars for me. And it's noble, and not like the olden days when it was a one-way trip, but maybe this time we could go back and maybe even settle there.
Listen,
3 years and then you'll be set for life.
No, I think we should.
Early pension payment, then you'll be able to kick back.
Listen, but I really.
Don't think about having kids, maybe in a house.
I'm not coming back. They sat us down, said, geomatic engineers are the most highly sought after group, and so they changed their thinking. That if they're going to pay for all of our training and give us everything we need, send us up there, then we had to sign a permanent contract. If we couldn't do that, then we had to leave there, and I don't know. They just put all this pressure on us, and they rattled on about it being the most significant event in human history, and that it was an honor, and that we would be making history, and we had to put aside our personal feelings, or else we had to leave, and I didn't know what else to do. It was either that or
I've run out.
They
More.
they set up a support group.
Better stay with me, huh?
They set up a support group for spouses of the Mars 9 team. You can go there, talk to spouses.
That'll be nice. Oh, that'll be nice.
Listen, don't be.
Oh, the thing is, how long have you known about this?
They told us Monday.
A week. You had all week to tell me.
I didn't know how to. I'm sorry.
All engineers boarding Flight 584 to Mars, please make your way to boarding gate 3.
Now you'll write, won't you?
Please don't be.
Oh, how am I supposed to be, huh?
I love you.
No!
All engineers boarding Flight 584 to Mars, please make your way to boarding gate 3.
No. I need to let me play among the stars. Let me see what brings on you. Trees like on Jupiter. Jupiter and
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, let me see.
Amazing! Congratulations, everyone. I'm sorry, audience, we can't unmute you right now and hear the applause. So now it is time for our Q&A. If you'd like to write anything in the chat is open for the audience. But also, if you have any comments for the actors or crew, or any questions that you'd like to ask, we'd love to hear from you about the process. You can raise your virtual hand in the attendee box, or you can write your question in the chat and we will direct it to one of our cast or crew members. I see, Mark, you've put on a costume as well. Is the whole family Wizard of Oz this year? Amazing. Looks like Ozza. Ozza has joined us again. I'm going to allow you to talk there, Ozza.
Hi, that was fantastic again. Congrats. This is for Kat and Aiden because that one kind of hurt. I know it must be a lot different, like learning to and working through everything over Zoom. So how did you guys like, I don't know, kind of develop that without the like face-to-face interaction?
I mean, Aiden, do you want to answer first, or I can?
No, you can go first.
I think, yeah, it was a little hard to navigate at first. Anya was really helpful. She directed that scene. So in the beginning of our rehearsals, a lot of the time was really just spent like establishing what we thought our relationship was, and we spent a lot of time working on that. And then we started to block the scene. So I think that really helped with our dynamic.
Yeah, I definitely to piggyback. It's just like first off, it was like getting the lines down, because if you can get that back and forth, I think that really helped until we blocked it. But yeah, it was hard. It was an experience, but I say thank you, Anya, for telling us where to look and stand all the time.
Wonderful. Great question, Ozza, and awesome answer, you two. I know they worked very hard on this. I had a question from Mr. PL, who is with us today, who asked, why did we decide to do this for the fall play? I guess I probably am the best one to answer this question. So, prior to our dear friend COVID, I had planned a site-specific roaming version of Romeo and Juliet that would take place all over the school. Perhaps we will do that next year. So then my mother, who I hope is still here, she sent me a book of plays. I'm going to hold it up here, called Where is the Hope? And the publisher and also one of the authors, Chantal, is here with us this evening. Hi, Chantal, and thank you so much for your work. Chantal is a part of an organization called the Arctic Cycle, and they run a festival every year where they ask playwrights from all around the world to write plays based off climate change issues. So these plays address issues from all around the world because, as we know, it is affecting our entire world. And it felt like I wanted to give the students an opportunity to see theater not only as an art form, but also as a form of activism. And we also asked student writers to write work that was inspired as well by climate change. So it offered the opportunity for student writing. And there were also some adaptations from my mother's magazine, Wild Hope, which is all about people who are working to save our planet's biodiversity. So that is how we picked it. I'm going to look in the chat here. And I'm going to put, for those of you that are wondering who actually wrote the plays, I'm going to put the link to the program again in the chat. From David Settles, how did you prepare to act in a role of the opposite gender? Okay, raise your hand if you acted in a role of the opposite gender. Fiona, would you like to answer that question?
Okay, hi, Dad. Well, it was obviously a challenge because I went from this like girly girl kind of hippie to just a bubbly girly girl to this like really masculine kind of leader. This is really embarrassing, but I didn't know how to really take all the makeup off without ruining everything, so I kind of wiped it and made like kind of facial hair and made me kind of look like a dude, if that makes any sense. Not like literally having under eye circles, but not looking very feminine is what I tried to go with. And I just tied my hair back and put a bunch of layers on and boom, quick change.
Yeah, I think it's also really fun to have the opportunity to play someone of the opposite gender, and I think theater offers a great space for people to explore their identities. So it's a really cool place where we can do that, where we can't always do that in other parts of our society. So I'm going to go to Lizzie's questions here. So Lizzie asked, was it hard to practice the rhythm of the dialogue remotely? And how did you work out the slight delay in your rehearsals? Gigi, do you want to answer that question?
Sure. Hi. Good job, everybody. You guys were wonderful. Yeah, so I mean, this is a completely new medium, even for someone like myself who has been doing theater for a really long time. This is something that I had to adapt to, as well as all the wonderful actors had to as well. And so I think what made this process go as smoothly as it did is that everybody understood what was happening, and that we knew that we had to be patient with the medium that we were on and our fellow actors, and that we needed to understand that there were things that were out of our control. We can't always control what the internet is gonna. My laundry is done. But aside from that, you can't always control what's gonna happen. And so just understanding that as actors and as directors and being in the same headspace going into it was really, really helpful to accomplish the work that we did. And also, when things go wrong, sometimes you be an actor, improvise, and try your best to cover it up like you would on a stage. It's the same concept here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your question, Lizzie, and thank you for your answer, Gigi. We're going to go to the Dela Cruz family. The question is, what is the concept for Swing Among the Stars? Anya, would you like to answer this question?
Sure, I would love to. Yeah, so Swing Among the Stars was a show I was specifically drawn to. I absolutely love it. Aiden and Kat, you did an amazing job. I'm very proud of you. The concept and like the ideas I really pulled from was, the idea that I always hung on to the line about the domes and the fact that they're living under these domes, and that, we have screwed up our world so bad that we couldn't be on Earth as we have been, and we had to go somewhere else. And my heart really broke for these two. I think Kat and Aiden did a great job, and I think most people's hearts break when they watch Kat leave. And I think what made me even sadder was the idea that they could have been together if we hadn't screwed up our planet. And that was kind of what I really hung on to, was it's this really beautiful love and connection that these two people share that's really broken up by a situation completely outside of their control, that was kind of given to them by all the decisions made outside of their control. And so whenever Kat leaves at the end, whenever woman leaves at the end, you have that feeling of, why did this have to happen? Why did she have to leave? And it's completely out of their control. And so I think, really talking about how do we create a world where we can be excited about the future, be excited about the thing it holds, and not leave a world where people are separated or left to be in these types of situations. And so I think that's where the concept came from. The emergency blankets hung up on their wall were more about, finding a way to make it seem like Aiden and Kat were in the same space. That was really my goal for the show, simply because there's so much connection there, there's so much love there, and I really wanted to try to bridge the gap that Zoom caused and a similar gap that they end up facing at the end. So that was kind of where that came from.
Thank you for your question, and what a thoughtful answer, Anya. That was lovely. We're going to go to Miss Zoe Forbes. Zoe Forbes, I'm going to allow you to talk.
Hi.
Hi.
Great job. That was really, really good. Grace, your piano playing, I did cry a little bit. But my question was about props and backgrounds. I see some of you have green screens, and I was wondering how, did you guys circulate that stuff, or how did finding props work? Was that stuff that you already had at home? Yeah.
Totally. I'm going to pass this question to Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller, are you there?
I am.
You want to answer that question because you were the brains behind all that.
Right, so very early on we figured that green screens were going to be essential to make this work well, so we just bought a ton of green screens, and we made up a little kit for all of our cast members, green screen, and then whatever props that we could make, and stuff like that, and they came and picked them up at the back door, socially distanced, so that we could get everybody equipped. If I had my druthers, I'd also give everybody a webcam and a mic, but that gets a little out of control when we've got this many people.
Yeah, maybe on another project.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question, Zoe, and thank you for coming again tonight. We really appreciate the support. We're going to go to Halsey. Halsey, I'm going to allow you to talk.
Hi, great job. I loved it. I actually have a question for our stage manager, Lucia, and I was wondering what's the hardest night for you? Was it last night or tonight?
Yeah, I think it's probably for the crew, it's definitely split even between New Michael and Layla Pines. So New Michael was last night, Layla Pines was tonight. Those were definitely the toughest shows. Our lovely directors had very ambitious visions, and they were all wonderful, and we all made them pan out. But it was a lot of spotlighting, and our crew did amazingly. Amelia and Anisha and Alex, they all did awesome, but I think it's definitely split between those two. Thankfully tonight, Layla Pines, we got to get out of the way pretty early on. But yeah, I think it's probably 50-50 between those two.
Yeah, that was a great question, Halsey. And the crew did such an awesome job. I think, in this process, we're sort of learning the limits of Zoom. And we definitely pushed the limits with those two. So we have definitely learned. Okay, I'm going to go, the name only says De La Cruz. So I'm going to allow them to talk. I don't know if it's the whole family. I don't know if it's one person.
Um, no, it's just one person. My name is Skylar. Skylar De La Cruz.
Just like
I first want to congratulate all of you. You did a wonderful job, and it was amazing to watch. And my question is, considering that Lila Pines for the Wolf was so violent and somewhat almost like extreme compared to the other ones, I was wondering if there is any significance in that. Like, why add that to this overall project that almost seems distant from the others?
That's so interesting. So, Layla Pines for the Wolf. In Iranian culture, it is not titled Little Red Riding Hood. It's called Layla Pines for the Wolf, and it's really a metaphor based off a real situation that's happening on an island off the coast of Canada. So there are these gray wolves that live on this island that usually cross a what's called like an ice sheet. It's like a path so that they can get to the mainland to get food. And because of global warming, that ice sheet is melting. And so they can no longer, that wolf population is dwindling pretty quickly. And so it was an adaptation of the Little Red Riding Hood story. So it was sort of a metaphor for the extinction of these gray wolves. So that's how it related to climate change. In terms of the violence, I'm always trepidatious when it comes to guns, especially with school. So that is why we did the sort of 1D animated kind of guns, and then we used the xylophone because I didn't want to alarm anyone with real guns and or real gun sounds. So yeah, so thank you for your question. I hope that helped answer it. Let's see. Let's go to Samantha.
Right. So I had like another question about tech. How did you guys decide like what the cues were and like what all the backdrops were and how did everything work? It's really interesting and like it seems really difficult. So I was just wondering how that all works.
Does someone on the crew want to answer that question? Should we go to our stage manager on this one? I think so.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So for these shows, at the very beginning, it was kind of crew and cast working separately. So we would have our crew meetings, get kind of familiar, play around with Zoom, while the cast would have their rehearsals. And during rehearsals, the directors would go through and kind of, I guess, block as much as you can block on Zoom what they wanted to happen. And then about a couple weeks before tech and a couple weeks before the show, we kind of started to join together. So we had like designated different roles, who was going to spotlight, who was going to do sound, who was going to have different roles. And we came together and then we started hosting rehearsals with the crew. And then we just kind of, it just all kind of like melded together, especially on tech. And we just kind of like went through, wrote down cues. Dry tech was super duper helpful, where the directors went through each of their shows and said, this is what I want to happen when, and everyone wrote it down. And then tech, we put it into action. And it all just came together very beautifully in one weekend. And yeah, it was kind of, looking back on it now, it just kind of feels like a blur, but it was very nice. Yeah.
That's a great question, Samantha. Thank you. Yeah, tech was very different for this show, but it was, I think we've learned a lot for the future, which is great. And we have one more question. This is from Michael Wolf, who would like to know how Peter prepared for his monologue.
Thanks, Dad. When I first started it, I did it from the point of view of my own character, A. I don't know what his name is. I think Gigi asked me to make up a name. I forgot it the next day. But I did it from the point of view of my character, A. Then halfway through, I realized it's not about me. It's about the audience. So what I did was I kind of abandoned everything that was going on around me in this imaginary scene, and I realized, hey, everyone here in quarantine is going through this shit, and everyone is suffering, and we're wondering if we're going to make it out at the end and if it's going to be good at the end. Is climate change going to kill us all? And the answer is, at the end, you're going to evolve. You're going to go forward. And I mean, that's what I tried to make it about. And I mean, I think it was pretty good.
It was great. Peter, we actually have one more question for you from my mom. My mom would like to know if your Homo sapien character resonated with you personally.
No, and I'm going to say that because his name is A, and he was undefined, which in a sense allowed me to just be myself, albeit a bit heightened.
Yeah, absolutely.
What mattered more to me was the message, which I could say I resonated with.
Okay, so you resonated with the message. Very cool. All right, audience. Well, it looks like we have no further questions. Cast and crew, feel free to scroll through the chat and see the comments from our wonderful audience. Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate your attendance. And once again, if you missed yesterday evening's performances or you'd like this evening's performances, I will put my email address in the chat and you can email me and I will send you a recording. So for now, I will say Happy Hallows Eve, and we hope to see you all in person soon. Bye, audience.